Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Force here, casting a game for you today between Tarson and EGG's Grubby. How's everyone doing today? I'm doing pretty well. I'm loving these new nameplates and all this jazz. Let's take a look at the APM. Wow, so amazing. All sorts of fancy stuff going on. But anyways, yes, we have a Terran vs. Protoss here on Xel'Naga Caverns. So hold on to your butts. Looking forward to it. A whole bunch of chatter going on, so that's quite exciting. So before we jump into things, guess what is going on? There is a Force Strategy Gaming giveaway. That is correct. You have heard... Well, you've heard correctly. Yes, there's a giveaway going on. I'm going to be giving away some StarCraft 2 gear, more specifically a Razer headset, mouse, and keyboard. So head on over to my channel. If you haven't seen it already, you can go ahead and enter into the giveaway. It is going to be going for the next 3 weeks until the 17th of next month, actually. So there's quite some time to actually go ahead and get on in there and try to win. Pretty simple stuff. I explain everything in the video, but let's just go ahead and get right into this game here. What's going on? I don't think we need to leave these nameplates up. I don't think that's absolutely necessary at all. We do have Tarson moving down with his 12 barracks right now, and then heading on over here into Grubby's base, we also see he went down with about a 12 gateway. So pretty standard play for both players. I don't expect anything cheesy quite as of yet. We are seeing that refinery come down right now for Tarson as well. We can see at the moment Grubby moving straight across the board with his probe. Going to be heading on in, doing some scouting, also probably doing some harassment. He should get there before the completion there of that barracks. And then as a result, he's going to be able to do some harassment there, kind of just be a nuisance, a little bit of a pain in the butt. We do have that assimilator going down. And yeah, not too much going on so far. We do have that pylon headed out to the corner there. Going to be scouting the edge of the base there, giving him some extra vision. Also, of course, allowing him to warp in some units right over the edge in case he gets, a couple things. Maybe he gets contained or something. Maybe if he tries for an early push, is of course going to be a little bit closer proximity to a warp in that would be in here inside of his base. All sorts of stuff going on. We do see heading on over here. We do have that first Marine coming out right now for Tarson. He's going to be holding off on the next building until he gets rid of that probe scout. Once that Marine goes out and can shoo off that probe scout, then he'll be moving on and actually pulling that Marine back. Checking first, pull him back to try to grab the probe if he were headed back there or if he were hiding in the corner. Did spot him at the front though. So as you can see, Marine did shoo him back. Probe's going to be forced to head on home at this point. Going back inside of Grubby's base, we do see that first Zealot coming out. Probably going to be chasing around that SCV, but unfortunately not going to be able to catch it. It isn't until that first Stalker comes out that Grubby's actually going to be able to rid himself of the scouting SCV of his opponent. We can see right now that the scout is out of Tarson's base. He's going to be coming down with this factory right here. So it looks like he may be going for the 1-1-1 build, starting out with just Marines for some early defense. Is going to be getting that reactor right now, and ooh, maybe seeing double Hellions, quite possible. That isn't certain by any means. He could just be going teching up and using that reactor for double Marines, but that'd be pretty cool if we did see a Hellion opening. You don't see that a ton versus Protoss. It happens every now and then, and it can be quite effective, especially if you try for something like a Hellion drop. And in fact, opening up with the Hellion, so at the very least, starting with the 1, here we go, dropping down that starport. You know what I'd love to see right now? I'd love to see Tarson go with the Hellion drop. That would be absolutely fantastic. And Grubby, what in the F is he doing? There's not a lot going on right now. It is because he is expanding. My gosh, this is quite risky, going for a 1-gate fast expand, and here it comes right now. Nexus being dropped right there as an expansion. Bunch of Marines moving on. A scouting probe moving into the base, and did he catch it? I don't think he did. I do not think that Grubby managed to see exactly what's going on. No, he didn't, so he didn't see the 1-on-1. He knows, obviously, that at the least there's a factor in the board because he did get smacked in the face with that Hellion, so he is fully aware of that. Hellion moving on around, and look at this. Hellion's gonna be scouting that expansion, gonna be moving right up the backside, gonna spot that expansion, and look at this right now, still just on that 1 gateway. We do have that warp gate research making its way on in, and he is well aware now of the expansion. So Tarson gonna probably want to be looking to push out sometime soon. Could be very effective, and look at this, actually gonna be going with Marine Raven, and you know what, that is quite potent as well. So a nice play there by Tarson. The Marine Raven build obviously very strong, especially if you can get that Raven out nice and early, let it build up a bunch of energy, allowing you to put down a couple point defense drones once an engagement does actually come through. Now just getting out that robo, also that second gateway coming out. Obviously the observer is going to be the next move. Hopefully that doesn't go anywhere near the Marine and Ravens, or else that will get dropped very quickly. And Tarson, instead of responding with early aggression, seeing the expansion from Grubby, he is in fact going to just be expanding himself. So that's not the worst of decisions. Would really like to see him come down with another barrack that has a tech lab on it. That way it's going to allow him to get some research. Obviously would really like that stim pack, would really like that combat shield as well, especially being so marine heavy. Moving on down, and this Hellion is going to get a few free shots here, and I think he'll be able to take out this one probe, and yes he does. One probe does drop. Stalker of course is going to push that Hellion back, so heading back here behind the shrubbery and going to be moving on away as well, most likely. Observer moving on out right now for Grubby, going to be heading straight into the base. Hopefully again he doesn't get caught by that Raven. That would be very, very unfortunate for Grubby. If he does manage to get caught by that Raven, he is of course going to be losing that Observer, but it looks like he may end up scouting that this expansion is going down. Should be seeing it lifted off, but no, going first for that orbital command. That is of course very, very that happens a lot. It's very, very, very common. Going for that orbital command first is going to allow you to accumulate some energy as you're flying over and let you get those extra mules out, as opposed to flying over without an orbital command. And spotting the Observer, going to be pulling into his base with that Raven. Is he going to catch it? Where's that Observer? Yes, he is. I think he's going to catch it. Observer's heading to the right, though. Marines, very slow. No stim pack as well. That's something else you have to realize. And without the stim pack, I don't think they're going to catch. A couple shots going off, but Observer makes it back unscathed. Only lost some of his shields. Lost none of his major health there, so not a problem at all. Grubby spotting the corner over here with that proxy pylon. Gonna let him see if any more Hellions try to move on in there. And this was actually worked out quite well for Grubby, because Grubby did in fact get that expansion up prior to Tarson. And since there hasn't really been any harassment besides that one Hellion that got a few shots, but besides that there hasn't been a lot of harassment from Tarson whatsoever. So definitely in a good spot right now. Now we do have this one Cloak Banshee making its way on over. I'm sorry, it's just a typical Banshee. We don't have Cloak researching at all actually. So just a standard Banshee moving its way on out right now for Tarson. Going to be trying to do some harassment there. We don't have a ton of anti-air over here. Grubby is sitting with this one Observer and two Stalkers though, and that in fact will be enough. We do have that Robo Bay here as well, so definitely going to be seeing some Colossus. There's that Thermal Lance, first Colossus making its way on out, and here we go. Banshee moving on in right now. Going to try to get at least a couple shots off. It can kill a few and pull back. It's going to be in a good spot. Observer pushing forward, two Stalkers, gonna force that Banshee to pull back right now, not gonna be able to pursue any further, again, especially without that Cloak. Even though that Observer was there, wouldn't have mattered regardless, because those two Stalkers were enough to shoo off that one Banshee, most certainly. We do still have some more Banshees making its way on out though, so Marine tank Banshee with the Raven tossed in there as well. We can see that Raven, again, getting it so early, allowed him to accumulate a bunch of energy. He is sitting at almost full capacity right now at 180 out of 200. We do have a few Stalkers moving forward, probably just trying to catch that Banshee off guard. Banshee is moving across there. Stalker's just going to be sitting over here content at the moment. We do have a few more units back here. Again, that Thermal Lance coming up. Level 1 upgrades moving out right now as well for Grubby. Now taking a look over here for Tarson. What do we have? Stim Pack and Combat Shield finally getting research right now. He did in fact get 2 additional barracks. Now that he's on this extra expansion, he can of course afford more things. And trying to move forward right now. That one Stalker got dropped very quickly though. Obviously going to force the rest of these Stalkers to push back. No chance in hell he's going to be making it on in there. And here we go, another Banshee moving, and in fact there is one moving from both angles. This one Banshee going to be attacking the Stalker over here at the exact same time. Banshee in the main mineral line, the Stalker and the Sentry moving forward, but he's going to get a few free shots. Already got 3 kills, moving down to 4 right now. Is he going to try to get a 5th? Yes, he is. 5th kill and pulling back into safety right now. Unfortunately, the one Banshee that was over here did get dropped. We can see, yes, this one Stalker did manage to kill him, so that Banshee is no longer on the board. But yeah, pretty phenomenal. Not really, but decent harassment. I mean, either way, again, this one Banshee did get 5 kills and did manage to pull back safely, so not a big deal. And here comes Grubby pushing out right now. Going to be moving into this high yield. Wants to drop these rocks, try to get that economic advantage over his opponent. We can see, I mean, taking a look at the unit composition, pretty solid right now. Would like to see a few more Vikings come into play right now, although he does have these Banshees. That one Banshee did get dropped though by those Stalkers. Although he does have those Banshees to work against the Colossus, the Vikings are definitely much more effective. Looks like Tarson is going to be trying to push forward a little bit right now, moving forward first with the Vikings, followed by the tanks and the Marines and the Marauders headed behind. He does want to try to deny this expansion if at all possible. If nothing else, trying to secure the middle, set up a nice siege line would definitely be a good thing on his part. Tarson's just going to be continuing up this pretty much bio-heavy build. We can see even more barracks being dropped right now. The researches are just about finished. We do have that stim pack just about finished. Combat shield, concussive shell moving down. Here we go. tanks sieged up. Zealots definitely needing to push back at that point. Vikings getting a few free shots, almost managed to kill that observer, but no, forced to push back once the stalkers do move forward and threaten those air units. Stalkers, of course, can drop those quite quickly. Now Tarson again knows his opponent's trying to expand, and very unfortunate situation there. Lost a bunch of the Vikings, at least 2. I think there may have been 3 actually, and that's actually quite terrible because he didn't do anything with that. Just pushing forward to try to see what he could do, and getting caught out of position by those stalkers. And gonna happen again, losing another Viking down to just the 1 Viking. Not looking good, especially as those Colossus numbers start to get larger and larger. The tanks can do an okay job of keeping them at bay, but with those thermal lances, not quite as effective, and it looks like Tarson's going to be trying to push in here. A very bold move, going all the way to the front of the expansion here of Grubby. Grubby going to try to keep those Colossus in the back, try to snipe down those Marines and Marauders. If he can catch them in this choke, it'll actually be really good for him. We can see that siege line, though, pushing back those Colossus, even if it's only a little bit. And it looks like right now Grubby's going to be trying to move to the other side. Scan going down. Tarson should be fully aware of that, spreading out his units. Grubby not liking the positioning over here, moving back and wants to engage from a different angle. Again, needs to be really careful. If he can snipe some of these units out of position of those tanks, way out of range of the tanks, not good at all. Force field's going down. All the bio on this side of the force field get absolutely roasted. We do have this 1 Viking going to town here, but that should get dropped pretty quickly, and that thermal lance is just completely devastating. But the siege line managed to stay up for quite some time and dropped so many of the units of Grubby. Grubby just left with these Colossus, most of them at low health, and they're getting drop sniped down. There was just 1 Colossus left. We do still have a few tanks, and Tarson managed to take out almost everything from Grubby, but a few Zealots reinforcing here, and this 1 Colossus managing to take out the remainder of the bio. And if this no, the Viking decides to pull back. He had the chance there. There was a chance that he may have been able to take out that Colossus, but decided once he saw the Stalkers being warped in that it was time to hightail it out of here. We can see right now some reinforcements for Tarson making their way on down. Hopefully he picks those back up. This 1 Marauder, though, going to actually slow down. No, but not going to actually stop this Nexus. Just way too slow, way too low of DPS to take care of that, especially with these encroaching forces here from Grubby. So it looks like Tarson going to be re-rallying, deciding not to try to deny this expansion anymore, and for the time being just going to be content with trying to pick up his high yield as well. And we can see right now he does have the command center ready and rearing to go, or reary and red, and I don't know, something like that. He does have a command center all set. Lots of Vikings on the board right now for Tarson, so deciding he does not want to deal with those Colossus anymore. Let's take a look at that unit counting station right now. We do have 7 Vikings, 9 Marauders, 5 Marines, and 2 Siege Tanks. So only 1 Colossus right now for Grubby, though. So Grubby not too Colossus heavy at the moment. We do have Charge Lots coming in. That, of course, going to be quite effective against that bio-heavy build. Also getting up on those Siege Tanks. That can be very effective as well. I mean, both players right now pretty much in the same position. We'll take a quick look at that unit loss tab right now. They're almost about the same, 60 to 59 units lost. Losing a few Vikings there again, trying to push forward and dropping the expansion. That was actually huge of Tarson. He managed to drop that expansion. We can see right now his expo is up and starting to get that high mineral field there saturated. That is going to be very effective, putting him in a great position. Grubby trying to go with a hidden expansion over here. We do see this 1 Marine scouting out the natural 3rd, but hopefully he checks that natural 4th. If he can manage to grab that and snipe that down quickly, he would be again in a really solid spot. But even delaying that expo by taking out the high yield was pretty big. We do have a push coming forward right now. Tanks are unsieged, nowhere to be seen. There we are. They're all the way in the back. Nowhere near being effective. We do have Blink Stalkers on the board, so probably going to be seeing a lot of harassment. We're going to be seeing Grubby utilize those quite a bit. That it can be a very effective harassing tool. Being able to move on in, snipe down some units, and blink back before any danger actually comes. Tarson finally moving his siege tanks into a better position. He's going to be much more suited to take care and protect this planetary fortress that is sitting over here. We do see Grubby again just about finished. I thought that was a Marine Scout, but no, just a Zealot. A heavy group of Marauders pulling on down. Does he know about this expansion yet? I don't think he does. No, he doesn't. And here we go. Big encroaching push coming from Grubby. The siege tanks finally in a decent position. Like I mentioned earlier, Zealot's trying to move forward, but getting shelled by the tanks as well as that planetary fortress. Suiciding so many Vikings right over those Blink Stalkers. Finally pushing forward. A couple force fields going down, but not enough sentries to actually effectively do this. And the Colossus getting dropped very quickly. Great job there by Tarson. He had so many Vikings, but managed to drop those Colossus so very quickly. Unfortunately, again, Grubby did manage to stick with that Colossus heavy build, and since his opponent Tarson had so many Vikings on the board, he was able to drop that almost immediately. I think Grubby would have been in a little bit better of position had he decided to make a little switch to Templar tech. We can see finally deciding to do that, knowing there are so many Vikings, but this is not good at all. Tarson spotting this expansion from Grubby. Grubby is in a tremendously bad position right now. He's going to lose this expansion, and he's still just on the 2. His natural just about mined out. His main nearly completely mined out. We've got 30 minerals on this one patch, but obviously he's not utilizing those at this moment right now. And Grubby trying to push out. He knows he needs to do something right here. He needs to try to do some sort of damage. Marauders absolutely shred these Stalkers, but there are just too many forces here. And the heavy Vikings going to be taking him out, and reinforced Marauders moving from the other side. And this push is stopped, and Grubby does call the good game. So good game between these two players. We did see basically Tarson managing to deny the expansions of Grubby. First this high yield, and then he took out the 1 expo that he had over here. And because of that, and because he managed to protect this Planetary Fortress high yield very well, he did just come out victorious there. There really wasn't anything that Grubby could do. He was just way too far behind economically. You can see here, even though he's floating a few resources, by the time he actually got up an expo, it would have been far too late. He would have been completely mined out, and yeah, just, there's not much you can do when you don't have any resources. So there you go, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the game. Don't forget to take a look at that giveaway on my channel. Pretty exciting stuff. And that about does it. Stay tuned for some strategy videos tomorrow. I will be coming out with those. I'm not sure if I'll do commentary. I might just do a straight up strategy video day tomorrow, because I know you guys are looking for some more of those. And yeah, I guess that does it. So as always, guys, keep watching and keep owning. On this side of the base, though, scan going down, taking down the creep tumor, trying to drop that overlord there as well. Pretty effective. Oh my gosh, look at this. Mute harassment going down in the main base of Straylock. Straylock forced to stop mining again, pulling back to the safety of that missile turret. So dangerous. And here we go. Counterattack coming from Straylock, getting mopped up though by all those Speedlings and Banelings and Roaches. Oh, absolutely devastating. Lost so much right there. Thor pushing back those mutas back here to the main base. And Straylock, man, he's just dealing with so much harassment. Those mutas being able to fly all over the place. At the same time, of course, he has had the siege up line, but look at this.